Have you heard the 5 principles to a successful answer before, Harry? If not, you're going to get them again. Or if you have, you're going to get them again. I'll do them again. Anyway, I'll do them anyway. Shall I do them anyway? Give
Yeah,
me a thumbs up.
give him to me again.
Right,
Yeah,
thank
because
you. Yeah.
I probably have, but yeah,
Right.
give it to me again. Yeah.
Structure. That's the first thing. The first thing you've got to have, whether it's a tell me about a time when, or how will you in the future, or why do you want to be a police officer, or what sort of impact will it have, challenges, what sort of values are important. Here's a scenario for you, forward-facing questions, rear-facing questions. For every type of question, and there's over 16 types of questions and assessment that you can get in your final interview, you need to have a structure. I structured everything in my career because I needed it, because I'm naturally chaotic and disorganized. I'm late in life diagnosed with ADHD. No, diagnosed makes it sound like there's something wrong with me. I love my ADHD self. I love it. I love it because it keeps me sharp. It keeps me creative. It keeps me able to innovate. Those were all the things I was good at in the police service. But oh my goodness, I was terrible at following a system or a structure. I had to really push myself to do it. So I had to create systems and processes and structures. So this is why I'm obsessive about structures, because it's the thing that keeps you on track in an interview. Good structure. Detail is needed because that's where the behavior is. That's where evidence of the behaviors are. So that's the next thing we need. The third thing we need is we need to be prepared to be authentic, as in sometimes things go wrong. So I'd like you to bring that into your answers, Harry, like things that didn't go to plan. Because if you're dealing with something that was challenging or difficult, and that's the number one thing that all of your answers need to be. If you're telling them about something you've done in the past, it needs to have been something that was challenging and difficult. Why? Because I don't want to hear about your day-to-day, this is what you do on a daily basis. I want to hear about when you've pushed yourself, when you've stretched yourself. Because guess what? As a police officer, you'll be doing that every day. Every day. That's why you want to be a police officer, because it's going to be stretching, it's going to be challenging, it's going to be demanding. If you want a job that's not those things, then leave the webinar now, because policing is not for you. Because that's what it is. Challenging, difficult, stretching. That's why we love the job. So naturally, if you're tackling something for the first time or second time, it was challenging or difficult, and you're telling me about it, I used to do the interviews. I will not believe you if you give me the advice that's out there on Google. If you look up interview advice, tap it into Google, it'll tell you in the result, always use an example of something that went to plan and everything worked out well. No. Might be if you want to work in a bank or be an architect or be a teacher or whatever, not in the police. Because in the police, as soon as your plan meets people, it changes. As soon as your plan, when you execute it, meets people, it will become something else. I promise you this. It's difficult, challenging, fast-moving situation. The end result will not be what you planned. It will have changed, and things will not have gone to plan. Why? Because you're in the police, and you're dealing with chaotic situations that multiple things are going on. You're coming up with imperfect decisions to imperfect information sources. You've not got access to all of the information, but you have to make a decision. So things sometimes don't go to plan. There's a difference between things not going to plan and misconduct, by the way. Misconduct is deliberately doing something which sours your oath of office to the king. Things not going to plan is when you did your very, very best. You gave 120%, but it doesn't work out. So I want to hear about that at the interview. I want to hear about things that didn't go to plan and why, and what you're going to do differently next time. If you do that, like because most people just talk bullshit at interviews. Just like, seriously, I've heard so many interviews. I'm just sat there thinking, this is so much BS. Give me a load of buzzwords and thinking it's going to work with me. I'm a police officer with
So
25 years service and you're giving me a load of buzzwords. Come on, give me a break.
so if, for example, I said something that potentially I may have done wrong, a mistake at work, something like that, that I could correct and learn from, that's the sort of thing that may give me higher marks than if I just said I did really well in that job, I was really great, all that sort of stuff. Actually give a weakness and a negative circumstance that I kind of learned from and got better from, sort of thing.
Well, it's not a weakness or negative circumstances. It's called life.
Yeah.
It's called life and dealing with difficult things.
Mm.
It's just what happens. But I want to hear about what you do differently next time to improve on it.
Yeah.
See, the thing is, some police forces have got rules that you can't ask any supplementary questions, so they'll just listen to your bullshit and just nod away and go, "Thank you very much," blah 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 blah, and you think, "Oh, I did quite well there," and then you find out you failed because, contrary to what people say in the Facebook group, "Oh, they're all very friendly," blah blah blah. No, they're not.
They're not. No, I know they're
Sat
definitely
there
not.
interviewing you,
Yeah.
and they can ask some supplementary questions in some forces, but only certain questions. In some forces, they're not allowed to ask any supplementary questions. So the answer you give, that's it.
Yeah. I know that Dorset, they do ask supplementary questions. But they're very you don't want to rely on them. That's all I'm saying. You don't want to rely on their questions. You want to just talk and they listen, basically, because that
You
means
want
you're doing well, usually. I
you
think
want to
anyway.
you want to get ahead of those, but remember, not all
Yeah.
assessments assess to the same standard. Don't
Mm.
how many days do you think the assessors interviewers course is? Give me a show of fingers. How many days do you think the interviewers course is? Give me a show of fingers.
Quite like one.
Be honest. Harry's saying one. Go on, Rosie. How many days do you think it is? The interviewers course. Three. Hannah, what do you think? Five. Greg,
Half a day.
yeah, if you're lucky. Mine was 2 hours long with the coffee break, and that was they were breaking ground by running a little course for you. For most forces, it's nothing, nothing. So you think they're all going to assess at the same standard? No, they're not. It's going to be wild variances because some of them just don't know what they're doing. So they may be asking you all the supplementary questions, and you're thinking, "I've answered this already."
The yeah, the other thing that I found a little bit off-putting when I did my last interview was when they give you the questions beforehand and give you 10 minutes to prepare. And then before each question, they'll say, this question's based on the competency we are emotionally aware. And then they'll tell you, ask you the question. So that kind of makes you think, do I need to throw in these buzzwords? Do I need to tailor it to the question? But
Oh,
exactly, yeah. But it does throw you off, and you're in there. But what you need to do is just talk about the scenario that you've had, and not worry about the actual CVF too much. That's kind of what I've got from
yeah, yeah,
your
100%.
videos.
Yeah, 100%. So the third thing is authenticity. The fourth thing is emotional connect, talking about if it's difficult or challenging, it would have been emotionally difficult for you and emotionally difficult for others. How did you manage those emotions? How did you manage other people's emotions? And the fifth one, you've just nailed it, Harry. Doesn't matter what this is from the competency of blah, 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 blah. Ignore that bit, focus on the question.
Mm,
Because do you honestly think for one moment that the assessors who have been on no training whatsoever or 2 hours at the most, you honestly think that they understand the wheel of confusion?
no,
No, they don't. They
there's so
don't.
much.
They don't. They don't understand it. I know this because in our promotion academy, we've got sergeants, inspectors, chief inspectors, superintendents who do the interviewing, and none of them understand it. So, look, just those five things: structure, detail, authenticity, emotional connect. Make sure you answer the question.